So it's a slightly windy day today. But yet, I still felt like doing some barbecuing. It's Labor Day. Hope you all having a great day off. I was pleasantly surprised when I opened up the package and there was 3 ribs here. So I got plenty of ribs for the week. Pro tip, dry your ribs off before you season them and remove the membrane. I removed these 2 membranes. I'm gonna show you how I remove this. Another pro tip, start with on top of the bone, drive a knife between the membrane, that's this stuff right here, and kind of twist the knife till you get like a slight, enough room at least for your pinky or finger, and then pull up. Then what you do is you take a dry cloth, because you can pull this till the sun comes up or goes down, and it's just gonna slip out of your hands regardless of whether you're wearing a glove or not. With a towelette or something, it's just one nice movement. It all comes off. I mean, it's okay if 100% of it doesn't come off. The only real reason why we're removing the membrane is so the spices underneath can penetrate and get to the meat. Other than that, if we weren't seasoning the meat, I wouldn't worry about removing the membrane. For some people, it's a discomfort when they eat. They don't like it. I don't mind it. You know, I don't scrape it. There's nothing that you should be scraping the back of the bones for. You know what I mean? There's no meat on the back of the bones. So I'll remove this last piece. I don't worry about cleaning the excess fat off, because I know once the meat gets up to temperature, the fat's going to render, which means melt. So a lot of the fat will melt off. Again, dry off your meat. I've already did it inside. The best way to do it is actually overnight. You open up the package, you throw it on a couple of cookie shells like this, let the meat just sit overnight. By that time, all the moisture is gone to the bottom. You can always put a wire rack on top of it or whatnot. That'll help out as well. All right, let's get to seasoning. As you know, the way you season is the way you season. I only use the sauce at the very end. So I finished up with the granulated garlic, and I use the container to make my own proprietary mix. So in here's just a bunch of stuff. You make yours how you like it. If you like it more sweet, add some brown sugar. If you like it more spicy, well, you know what I'm getting at. So what I'm gonna do is just sprinkle this very liberally on the meat. Now I like mine sweet and spicy. Always love that profile. Don't forget the back. And actually, you could do this the night before as well. Flip her over. That rub that they taught you in old school back in the day, that's not how you do it. You can pat it down. Once there's seasoning on, you just pat it. You don't rub it. Now, like an idiot, I grabbed the container with my dirty gloves, but that's okay. I'll wash the container before I put it back in the cabinet. Boom. Like I said, you can just pat it down. Flip this one over, which is already seasoned on top, and do the same. And let's get this last one right here. You can see it. I got to use my right hand. I'm just better coordinated. I think some glue in my eyes a little bit. What a buffoon. pay an homage to a friend of mine at work. What a buffoon. Boom, flip. So here's the plan. Behind me, I don't know if you can see it, smokers, about to 180. Minimum temperature for smoking, if you ask me. I'm gonna let it smoke for about 3 hours at the very lowest temperature. That means it's gonna cook very slowly, but infuse a lot of the smokiness into the meat. Then I'm gonna crank her up to about 250. That'll give it its, then it'll start to cook. Another thing I'm gonna do is I am gonna make a dipping sauce. Get rid of this. Comprised of strawberry jam. I prefer jam. You can use preserves, you can use whatever you like. I prefer jam because there's very little chunks in it. Preserves have a little bit more fruity of a chunk. And if you even want, I don't recommend, you can even use jelly, which to me is mostly just sugar water. Gelatized sugar water, in my personal opinion. So I got some nice Schmucker's strawberry jam here. This is quick. This does not go on here. It actually goes in the fridge for a little while, just before serving. It goes in the microwave. Your favorite barbecue sauce, whatever that may be. Pop that in there. A little bit of onion. And kind of measure with my hand a little bit. That's perfect. Put the rest back. Onion to help my profile out a little bit of this. I gotta be careful with this though, some family members don't like it. I love it. Mix her up. And there you go. Again, this will sit in the fridge for a little while. Just before I serve it, I'll microwave it until it gets almost hot. That microwave will do two things. Obviously, it'll make it easier to pour, but also those peppers and onions I put in there, once they soak in the fridge for a few hours, it'll actually start to soften up. Once you put it in the microwave, it'll actually extract the juices from those peppers and the onions back into the sauce. See about getting this towards the middle. Little taste test. Good. Like I said, that was strawberry jam. Now we're gonna go throw this on the fire pit right now. You know what I mean. Okay, here we are. Hope you can hear me over the wind. I'll try to talk a little louder. Throw some ribs on. So on my grill, hottest part is this way. No, actually, hottest part is that way. Coolest part is here. Flop that on. Separating them, giving them a little room for smoke. There you have it, buddies and gals. Let me turn the camera a little bit. Alright, so we're going to smoke again for about 3 hours at 180. I wanted to show you the sauce. I don't know if I tilt the glass or the bowl too much, obviously it's going to spill, but you can see the color, I'm hoping. Strawberry barbecue sauce. Anyway, folks, okay, talk to you. The ribs have been on, I don't know, about 3 hours and 45 minutes actually, to be exact. I just looked at the clock. So I just turned up the temperature to 225, and now we're going to flip them and rotate them. Ribs have a ways to cook. By the way, it's really windy out. It's to be expected that there's a little noise in that camera. Alright. I can tell how stiff they are that there's some ways I'd say about another 3 hours these will be tender. I have been spraying them down with a water and apple cider vinegar. Waiting for another half an hour to do another spraying. But you can see the fat here, it's starting to soften up. And pretty soon it'll actually start to melt. I'm actually pulling this away with very little effort. So that's what we want. We want the meat to come up to temperature. I want about 190. I'll get a thermometer and make sure she's up to temperature. Once it gets up to temperature, that fat should be melted off. See you in a little while. Okay, I'm hand holding the camera. For the ribs, I think they're done. I'm going to double check the temperature in just a moment. I mean, when fat starts to melt right around, look at that, it's just totally melted. You can see the grease coming off the fat. You know that's rendered. Basically, most of the fat has melted. Pulling away from the edge of the bones. You see how the bones are exposed right there? A lot of the bones are exposed as you go down, which is a sure way to tell that they're done as well. But the surefire